Hello there, and thank you very much for clicking on to watch this video. My name is Bond, Dr. James Bond. I'm a health and fitness expert. Now, the reason I'm talking to you today is because a couple of years ago, I started up doing self-defense classes for the goth and alternative community with Harold Bomber Graham, the former European middleweight boxer champion. For various reasons, we'd never pursued the project, but largely because it was unprofitable. We didn't just get the people coming forward. Although we did have a couple of bullied school children come, and our pièce de résistance is that in every single case the school bully backed down, but that's a different story altogether. Anyway, I'm talking to you today about a bigger threat to the goth and alternative community. Now, there are some very prominent people making noises and campaigning vigorously to stamp out prejudice and discrimination against the goth and alternative community, and for that I commend them. However, there is a bigger threat to the goth and alternative community that I'm going to talk to you about today. It's obesity. Now, obesity does affect the general public, but the alternative subcultures are going to be more disproportionately affected by this than the general public. There are several reasons for this. The first one is poverty. Poverty is the #1 cause of obesity, believe it or not. And the goth community are going to be disproportionately affected by this for one simple reason. They find it very difficult to get jobs, or at least they can do. A lot of employers may discriminate against them on that basis, in other words, to get jobs. Okay, now it might be illegal for them to do that, but I can tell you here and now, an employer might not discriminate on those grounds, but they'll find another reason not to take them on. I can assure you, any employer can do that, I'm afraid. Now, in case you're wondering why obesity is a disease of poverty, there are 4 main reasons for this. Food that is low in nutrition and high in fat is mass-produced and cheap. Food that is high in quality nutrition and low in fat is hand-produced and expensive. Unfortunately, those of lower income cannot afford it. Okay, people who are cash poor tend to be time poor, so they don't, generally speaking, have the time to cook from fresh. And the other thing, what tends to happen is that people who have lower income backgrounds may only be able to afford to eat 1 or 2 meals a day. Now, if that happens, your body's wondering where the next meal is going to come from. So what then goes and happens is that your metabolism will slow down, and basically you'll store as much as you can as fat. So it's compounded. If you're of lower income background, you can only afford to eat 1 or 2 meals a day, and those 1 or 2 meals are low in nutrition and high in fat, the recipe for obesity. The other thing is goth and alternative people are very much discriminated against, and that can have a terrible effect on their self-esteem. And low self-esteem is a breeding ground for overeating, which unfortunately can lead to obesity. It's a very sad fact of life. Okay, the other thing here is discrimination. When I was a medical student, although I've got no statistical evidence to show this, I can tell you that people of ethnic minority background very often got poorer medical care than their white counterparts. Now, you can slate me for saying that, but racism is rife in the medical profession. Okay, and I can say this with absolute certainty. The most white doctors, a lot of them, are living in their ivory towers. And the reason why they say that racism doesn't exist in the health service is 1, they don't experience it. 2, they condone it. 3, they won't dare say anything in case they see it, for the simple reason the old boy network. And 4thly, a lot of doctors are racially prejudiced themselves. I did notice that when I was a medical student, from the very first day, how to put this, our demonstrators were looking down upon ethnic minority people and treating them as, talking down to them. And when I did my intercalated research degree, my lecturers were speaking to me on a separate level, on the same level, I should say. And what then goes and happens, it just perpetuates. And so I can assure you that there's discrimination there. I am confident for those reasons, that if a goth or alternative subculture person went into hospital, they will get a poorer quality service than their white counterparts. I'm confident of that. My other reasons is in the fitness industry. The fitness industry, thankfully, is not as discriminatory as the medical profession, thankfully. But unfortunately, if they are if they have lots of piercings, they may be refused gym membership for the simple reason, it might affect the gym equipment, I'm afraid. So for those reasons, I think that the goth and alternative subcultures will be disproportionately affected by obesity, and obesity will kill more people in the Western world than starvation and the two great wars combined. Anyway, if you don't believe me, just watch what happens over the next 20 years. Okay. Anyway, down below, I've got a little guide called 100 or so ways to lose weight without going to the gym. Just click on it below and you can get it. My name's Bond, James Bond, leaving you shaken but not stirred. Bye bye.